Okay. Two and 4. Good evening. The time is now 5 o'clock. I call this meeting of the Granbury Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. The board will now adjourn into executive session pursuant to the following sections. 551.072, discussion of purchase, exchange, lease, and value of real property. 551.074, discussion of officers, employees, and personnel matters. 551.076, consider the deployment, specific occasion for, or implementation of security personnel or devices. The time is now 5:01. 6 o'clock. Is this on? Hello? Okay, I'm getting one thumbs up in the back, so I guess it's working. All right, thank you. Okay, we will now reconvene in open session, beginning with our invocation by Mr. Moore.
Everyone, please pray with me. Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for everybody here tonight. We're thankful for our students, our teachers, staff, and our administration. Please bless our decisions and actions as school board members that we may make the best decisions for Granbury ISD. We ask for your guidance and wisdom. Help us to remember why we are here, for the common good of your kids. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. And now we will have our pledges. And I believe that Ms. Gibson's class is handling that today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Glenn and Board of Trustees, for allowing us this opportunity to lead our pledges this evening. I'm going to have 4 of our student council reps, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and do the pledges.
Hello, my name is Makai Golb, and I'm president.
My name is Clark Dorr, and I'm vice president.
My name is Turner Atkinson, and I'm secretary.
Hello, I'm Hudson Peace, and I am public relations.
Will you please stand for our pledges? Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now for the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
And every morning we recite our own pledge, so the Oakwood School Pledge. We, the Oakwood School community, pledge to respect ourselves, to respect others, and to respect our school.
And while our students are going around, will the parents please stand up so we can recognize them? You can't tell me that we have some really great kids at this school district. Our Achievement Spotlight. First up, all-state band students with band director Mario Morales presenting.
Jamie.
Oh, is Jamie presenting?
I am.
All right.
Well, good evening, everybody. So, as a former band person, I can attest the hard work they put in. These two went to state, and so basically, these two, this is Layla Escazet. Okay, make sure I got the right, I got Pettis. And they're members of the Granbury High School Band. They performed in the Texas All-State Band in San Antonio on February 11th this year, and as part of the TMEA, or Texas Music Educator Association, big event. It's a big clinic, it's statewide, it's a big deal. So they were chosen for this prestigious honor through a whole series of a competitive process. So it starts with region, it goes region, and area, and then state from there. Okay? over 70,000 students from around the state vying for the honor to perform in one of 18 ensembles. So please join me and give these two a round of applause.
And do we have parents for these two young students? All right, moving on with some more of our excellent students, swim team state qualifiers. Coach Overton.
Let me just like here, back out like that. Okay, cool. All right. I'm Coach Charles Overton. I'm the head swim coach for Granbury High School, and this is my assistant coach, Coach Destiny Miller. We're here to present you guys our 2023-2024 high school state qualifiers for the 5A state meet. First off, I'd like to thank you guys for taking a few minutes and recognizing our guys and really just doing everything you guys do to help support our district and give our kids the best opportunities that they have to have success and excel in academics and athletics and everything. So without further ado, just a little background. These are our 5A state qualifiers. To qualify for state in swimming, you must compete in the district swim meet and be top 6 to qualify for the regional round. Then to qualify from state to move on from regionals to state, you must be either the first or second place finisher or one of the next 8 fastest in the entire state. So these young men and women are either on a relay or an individual event, and they're one of the 24 fastest swimmers in the entire state of Texas. So I'm going to call their names off and recognize what events they qualified to swim at state for. So my first swimmer is Cameron Ward. He qualified for the boys 200 freestyle relay. Next, I have Luke Basil. He is on the 200 medley relay and the 200 freestyle relay. I have Bodie Chastain. He was on the 200 medley relay. Brenna Haynes, she's a 2-event state qualifier, the girls 200 free relay and the 400 freestyle relay. My next two may not be here. They're also dual sport athletes. They're at baseball practice right now, so they may come flying in real quick here at the end. But next is Braxton Heffernan. He's actually our highest event qualifier. He was in 2 relays. He was on the 200 medley relay, the 200 freestyle relay, and he was our only boy to individually qualify in the 50 freestyle, which was also a school record set in 2004 that he broke. So. And it may be a name that you recognize. It was from Nick Vollmer, Dana Vollmer's little brother, who swam at high school here. So something that we're really excited about and really proud of. Next is Hunter Jones. He was on the 200 freestyle relay. Colin Lindsay, he was on the 200 medley relay. I have Madison Jo Arezzo. She was on the 400 freestyle relay. Next is Miley Jane Arezzo. She was our other swimmer that made an individual qualifier. She was the highest event qualifying for a girl. She made it in all 4 of her events. She was in the 200 free relay, the 400 free relay, and she qualified individually in the 50 and the 100 freestyle. Next, I have Avery Young, she was on the 200 freestyle relay. And then finally, I have Bailey McDermott. She was on the girls 200 freestyle and 400 freestyle relays. And as a little side note, this is the most swimmers that we've taken to state since the 2020-2021 COVID season. So this is really exciting, really awesome for our program. So.
And are there parents out there that we can also honor? Just wave. There we go. Thank you.
Guys, get in between the shoulders so I can see you. If I can't see you, you're moving with the picture. There we go. All right, look this way. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So these are backwards. All right. Next, we'll have Coach Brazil to come up and talk about the boys basketball team.
All right, so we had one facing y'all and one facing the crowd. What is the prep? Okay. Miss Clark is kind of like my wife. She's going to tell me what to do, and normally it's going to be right, even though I might protest. Okay. So this is the varsity guys, and this is Coach Weeks and Coach Pope. They were a couple of assistants. The other two are involved in their spring sports right now. And so boys basketball, senior heavy team, we had 10, and it won't be named until later in April, but 7 of the 10 will be academic all-state, Texas Association of Basketball Coaches. So what you have to do is something that Coach Weeks and I were unable to do when we were in high school. You have to have a 92 cumulative average over 4 years. Now, you turn those numbers around, and that's where he's at. Because I checked, well, never mind. So these guys won 22 games in the regular season. And Ryan kind of knows how Granbury basketball was in the past, and you got to go back a long way to find a team that had won that many. We've had 5 20-win seasons in the last 5 to 8 years, but 22 was kind of a new mark. And this group of seniors was very special to me. This was, you know, we kind of all knew this. We were going to kind of graduate together, so real proud of them. And here's the problem. They're really handsome guys, and I need to coach ugly kids because if I ever get back, I've got to go to some place, like when I was at Grayford, I had a bunch of toothless kids, and I didn't have any girls. I didn't have to worry about girls chasing them. All these guys, it was a distraction. We were always fighting a distraction. It was like a band after a concert. So that's what drove me out of the profession. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parents are going to take all the pictures here, so I'm going to try.
All right, here we go. Everybody look here. Back row, let's go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, hold it. Got it.
Right here. Hey, Coach.
And will the parents of these students please stand up? I know they spent a lot of hours.
Hey, David. Hey, David. Just leave.
God, she looks.
All right, let's move on to the girls' basketball. Coach Thorpe.
All right. This is our girls' basketball team for this year. First of all, let me introduce Coach Gamboa. She's one of the toothless Grayford girls that was there when he was there. So, girls had a great year this round, going 2 deep. Really proud of this group. We've talked about it before, that as many kids as we graduated last year, expectations weren't real high with anybody else but us. We thought they could do it, and they came out and they proved that they could. So extremely proud of this group. Only had 3 seniors, Ella Garner, Brianna Johnson, and Cameron Goodall. And we had great senior leadership this year with those 3. And everybody else you see up here, we have back. So we're expecting good things again next year. So this is your group.
Thank you. And as the girls go around, what about parents? Who, I know we have some parents. Please stand up.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, hold it.
Crystal, can you send that to the monitor? I will. Thank you so much.
let them file out a little bit. But when you think about it, we've seen all-state band students, we've seen state qualifiers in swimming, we've seen basketball teams who have gone further than they've gone in a long time. We have seen a bunch of students that are willing to put in the dedication, the time, and the commitment to really get to the best that they could be in their sports. And you really have to thank the parents for that too, because the parents have to be willing to spend the time, do the driving before their own kids have their license. This is pretty spectacular when you're able to see a school district put this many people into state. And I can't even tell you what we're going to say about MJROTC next month. Going on, we have a procurement proclamation by Mr. Charabi.
Thank you, board and district leadership for this honor. March is the procurement month, and it's recognized nationally. Our purchasing department takes great pride in being stewards of taxpayers' money. We always look for best value for the Granbury ISD, through competitive bidding process, negotiating contract, and of course, following the purchasing guidelines. We also partner with agencies and co-ops, interlocal agreements, MOUs, and tonight I have the privilege to introduce my other side of purchasing with the city, Christy Russell, and Glenn Tillman. He's the purchasing agent for Hood County. And I want to thank my assistant. She can't make it tonight, Brady Watson, and all the team at the finance departments for doing great work, and without them we wouldn't be here. So thank you.
Okay, and next, something that we look forward to each month, presentation by Brian Thompson for the Schottenkirk Senior of the Month Award.
Good evening. Thank you guys for having me. I'm proud to present the Schottenkirk Senior of the Month Award for March of 2024 to Kensington Loving. I'm going to say a couple quick words about her. She's actually an amazing student. So Kensington's a remarkable senior whose life purpose revolves around compassion, service, making a lasting impact. From a young age, she's been driven by an unwavering desire to help others, whether that's offering a shoulder to cry on, tutoring around the clock, or even bringing laughter as a comedian. Kensington has played diverse roles in supporting those around her. Kensington hopes to attend Baylor University, a prestigious institution known for its pre-dental programs. There she plans to excel academically, majoring in biology, and eventually securing a spot in dental school. Her goal is to earn her DDS and become a dentist, but her heart's true calling goes beyond professional success. Her ultimate purpose is to actively impact lives, leave a positive mark on the world. Her vision starts locally, but her impact knows no bounds. Kensington Loving's a beacon of compassion, ready to make a difference, one smile at a time. Congratulations, Kensington.
Are Kensington's parents here tonight? All right, that finishes up our achievement spotlight, and let's move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Glenn.
Thank you, Madam President, and it was a big night, and I think we're going to have another big night next month. We'll start with some good things that happened this weekend. Our JROTC achieved their 7th all-service championship in a row, which is a new national record. In addition to that, this weekend, the Stowaways were national champions. The jazz band recorded all ones at their competition, and the Winter Guard finished 2nd overall at their regional competition. I also want to thank Wes Jones. He has done a great job of putting together a job fair, which will take place April the 6th, running from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we are looking at positions that range from custodians, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, all the way to teachers, which will have the opportunity to interview on site with campus administrators. So I know he and his HR staff have put a lot of work into that. Also, I don't see Stacy Brown here. Stacy, oh, she is. I see someone pointing. She's right outside. She's running in. So shout out to Stacy. Stacy and her curriculum team are putting together an incredible curriculum that they've shared with the campuses as it relates to the solar eclipse, which will take place on 4/8. I know that she has purchased glasses, protective eyewear for all the kids, all the teachers that will be on campus that day. Also want to thank our Chief of Security, Wade Clark. I know that he is working closely with Granbury PD and the Sheriff's Department to make sure our campuses are safe that day. And we know it's going to be a busy day, but we look forward to a lot of great learning opportunities. And thank you, Stacy, for all your hard work on that. Also, Stacy, if you have an opportunity, Stacy, on Friday, she is bringing in Molly Hudgens, who wrote the book Saving Sycamore. And it's a story about a counselor who actually talked down a student that brought a firearm to school and had planned an active shooting. And that counselor was able to talk that student down, saving countless lives. And we look forward to having Molly here on campus to share her story with the Granbury ISD staff. And so, trustees, if you're available, we would love to have you in the auditorium, 8:30 in the morning this Friday. That's going to be something not to miss. As far as the administrative team, we have been in budget meetings, Jimmy Dawson, Tammy Clark, Emmett Whitefield, heading those up with campus leadership. And I will tell you just some facts that Mr. Whitefield and I discussed today. 80% of districts in the state of Texas are reporting that a deficit budget going into next year is their top concern. Over half of the districts this year are expected to have a deficit budget by the end of the current fiscal year, and 56% of districts are expected to dip into fund balance just to be able to make it through next year. And I say all that to say that the GISD, working with Mr. Whitefield and the excellent crew he has in the finance department, our plan is to adopt and present to you a balanced budget. We'll continue to have what is in effect the lowest school tax rate in Hood County, and for a district our size, one of the lowest school tax rates in the state. Under his leadership, perfect first report rating this year. He's been here since 1999. We've never had an audit that wasn't clean, and we were looking at it today because we know we're up for a bond election. With the permanent school fund guarantee, if we were to sell our bonds at the rate that we're currently insured, we would receive the highest AAA level rating by S&P and by Moody's, respectively. So financially, the district is in a real good position. And I say that because I know there are other districts that are really struggling right now. And you know, people point toward enrollment. It's not necessarily enrollment as it is the fact that inflation has increased at an incredibly high level, and school districts are struggling to keep up with the growing demands in energy, because gas costs more, transportation costs more, food costs are higher, salary costs are higher as we try and take care of our staff. And we see other campuses that are having to make hard decisions, cutting back on staff, maybe closing campuses because they don't have the money to fund the campuses. It's not that they want to close those schools. It's just that they're going to raise their student-teacher ratios and push kids into other schools. And we're not having to do that because our board's, again, been extremely conservative. And so just a credit to all of our trustees for the job you're doing, and know that as we begin preliminary planning for the 2024 school year, that we're definitely taking note of everything that's happening across the state, and we feel we're well prepared for that. So, Madam President, that is your report this month.
Thank you, Dr. Glenn. Okay, we're now going to public comments. We do have 6 people that signed up. I'm going to read the same statements I have been reading for the last 3 or 4 months so that everybody understands where we stand. To better serve the students, staff, and communities throughout GISD, individuals who wish to address the board during the public comments portion of the board meeting are required to register online. The form can be found on GISD website under the School Board and Board Meetings tab. If someone lacks the technology necessary to complete the online submission form, they can call the GISD Administration Building or complete the form in person at the Granbury ISD Administration Building. Registration will open at the time the meeting agenda is posted, which is typically by 5 p.m. on Friday before the meeting, or 72 hours prior to the start of the meeting. Registration will close at noon the day of the meeting. All 6 people have registered online as they were supposed to. Please understand that in accordance to the Texas law, the board is not able to respond directly to comments or questions posed by the speakers during public comments. Therefore, GISD staff members will review all submissions and, if necessary, reach out to seek resolution or additional information prior to the meeting. I ask the people who are going to speak tonight to please stick to the agenda item they have referred to in their registration. As far as non-agenda items are concerned, since the board cannot deliberate on any subject that is not included on the agenda, the board has scheduled quarterly special meetings to hear non-agenda items. The venue will allow the board to have open discourse with the public and work to resolve issues through the many programs and experts within the district. An example of a non-agenda item is the gentleman who spoke a few months ago on the broken AC in his daughter's bus. Since it was not on the agenda, we could not discuss the problem. All we could do was listen silently. In this new venue, we could discuss that buses have been ordered, but the delivery's been slow, and that we work to keep our buses running. That's difficult given the miles they run per day. Also, we could direct him to whom to contact for directly help in that situation. So now on to the agenda public comments. The first person is Monica Brown. She has said she is going to speak on 3 different topics that will all be done in the 3 minutes. She wants to speak on topic 10, which is all of the consent agenda items. Topic 11, which is all the discussion and action items. And topic 12, which is all of the reports. And you will have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Well, the first one is just about the minutes. They're approved tonight, and I just wanted to make the statement that if you go to Weatherford ISD, you look at their school board just like here, you look at their minutes, you actually get to see the minutes. And it's something I would encourage you to do if you're looking for trust and transparency, is just to show the minutes so that people can see what you're voting on. Many of the items on Agenda 10 don't have detail. So when you look at it, you're like, blank, blank, it's a letter that says we're going to talk about this, but it doesn't say what you're going to talk about. If you go to the Weatherford ISD, you can see an amazing amount of detail. So they're doing an outstanding job that way. Okay, and then the next one was, I think 11.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, even 10 talks about budget amendments and things like that, and you've got terms like compensation, financials throughout this document, and I feel again that it's a trust issue, that we've been given faulty information and we've watched over spending on a variety of things. So again, the greater detail, greater communication. If you're going to do something like a $161.5 million bond, and we need more than 6 weeks to think about it. So I'm just encouraging you for the future, if you don't want so much kickback, that you could give detail, because you mentioned the meeting we had that was wonderful to get to speak to you, but we didn't have our details then. So now you publish it. We can't speak. The trustees can't put things on the agenda unless there's 3 of them, so I'm advocating for that to be returned to free speech for every trustee. I think we're breaking and violating First Amendment rights. It's
Can you
historic.
stop the clock for just a moment?
Sure.
I just want to make sure, because I don't want you to lose your time.
Okay. It looks like
He's
it's
going to go back to where it is.
And I don't need more than about a minute anyway.
Well, Ms. Brad, I just want to make sure you understand, it is at 2. It is not 3. It only takes 2
I'm sorry, I
trustees.
think 2 is too many, because historically,
Okay, I just
history
wanna
and
make sure
tradition.
that the right
Thank you.
information
I
is
do
coming
appreciate
out.
that. I do, because I don't want to, I will accidentally say something's incorrect, so I appreciate that.
Okay.
I don't mean to be incorrect. So I appreciate that. So it's set up for history and tradition, always said, and it's all over the state of Texas, that school board trustees can put an agenda item on just one person as a trustee voted by 12,000 in Karen's case, constituents here in the city, put her on the board so she could speak. But what you did was you made it to where only 2 could. So you're squelching First Amendment free speech rights. And it's historic. I've got 2 of my children here. I'm more at home watching what's going on in America, in Granbury of all places, that the free speech has been squelched. So that was what I wanted to say about that. And I think the next one, which I may be out of time, again, it was just cash flow, investment, financial statements. I just feel like you've eroded a lot of trust because the information has not all been correct. And I just wish it was different. I came with rose-colored glasses on my eyes when it came to Granbury. I've admired it since I was a little girl, and what I've encountered here has been pretty unsettling and sad, and a lot of people are watching, and a lot of people are hoping we can go back to things that honor history and tradition, and transparency is one of them. You publish the minutes so people can see what they are. You publish the details so people can see what they are, and so they correct something. It's okay. We can go back and correct something. That's a normal ebb and flow of anything you do, is to communicate back and forth and get it right.
Thank you. All right, the next person is Jim Brown, and he is going to speak on item 12B. 12B is financial statements for the period ending February 29 of 2024. Jim Brown is not here?
Yeah, I'm here. I just got passed. I didn't have time to look at all the numbers, so I'm not prepared.
Okay. Next, we are going to Lisa McDermott. She wants to speak on item 11D, which is consider capturing kids' hearts professional development contract for all elementary schools.
Hi, thank you for letting me speak. I wanted to speak about the Capturing Kids' Hearts program. The district is recommending continuation of this program at secondary campuses at a cost of $54,700 and implementing it for all new elementary staff at a cost of $276,750 for a total of $331,450. According to the memo from Stacy Brown, the CKH trains teachers, staff, and administrators on skills to use and model in their classrooms, schools, and districts. Some of the skills listed include how to build meaningful, productive relationships with students and colleagues, and how to use the CKH Excel model to create a safe and effective environment for learning. I visited the CKH website. They stated, if we invest in helping educators to learn to model positive behaviors, we will see exponential results in the lives of students. Furthermore, the Excel model, referenced in the memo, consists of several strategies used by K through 12. Some of these include greeting students at the door, asking students to share good things in their lives, having students create a social contract for expected classroom behavior, ending the class on a powerful note or launch. After doing some research into this training, 2 major questions arose. First, is this training a necessity? Many of the skills taught in the training seem to be basic prerequisites of good character, specifically relationship building and modeling good behavior. Are Granbury ISD employees currently incapable of building meaningful and productive relationships with students and colleagues? Do Granbury ISD educators currently lack the ability to model positive behaviors? Are Granbury ISD employees currently failing to engage with students, i.e. the skills mentioned in the Excel model? One can only conclude that the superintendent and/or this board believe current employees lack these desired skills and thus require this training. Second, is the purchase of this training going to be an effective use of district resources? Again, the overall cost of the program, $331,450. Have there been any benefits with the current program in secondary schools? Is there enough to benefit to warrant spending another $276,750 to implement it in the elementary schools? If you look at Wake County Public Schools, who spent $745,950 on their CKH program and conducted a 3-year evaluation of their program, focusing on the CKH program compared to their business as usual model, they noted that the program was not being implemented consistently and there was no difference in the desired outcomes between the intervention versus comparison schools. And the Excel model strategies did not appear distinctly different from the business as usual strategies that comparison schools used in their efforts to build relationships and positive school cultures. In the end, they concluded with 3 different recommendations, one being in lieu of capturing kids' hearts expansion, the program expansion, to investigate less costly initiatives. So in conclusion, is there a less costly initiative that we should be considering if the training is deemed necessary, if the GISD employees do not currently have what they need for currently teaching and educating in the district? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McDermott. Next, we have Todd Daniel, and he will be speaking on item number 2, which is convening into closed session. Item number 9, which is consider action on items discussed in closed session. And number 11, which is all discussion and action items. Mr. Daniel.
Good evening. Thank you. This is the first time I've been able to speak here. The last 4 times you've inhibited my First Amendment rights. Regarding your closed session, I didn't see the attorney here tonight, and your agenda says that what you're doing is you're going to consult with the board's private attorney. And, you know, the public has a right to understand what you discuss in closed session too, and just stating the legalese from the statutes, that's not going to get it. You need to let us know what you're talking about. You don't have to tell us specifics of everything. That's part of your discussion and why it's in closed session. But if the attorney wasn't here tonight, why are you putting this on your agenda? I don't see her. You said you went back there and talked to her. I don't see her. There's a lot of problems with your closed session. You use them against grievance, all kinds of things. It's a trick. I'll speak to that some more time. I want to save my time for other things. Regarding item 11D, to build on what Ms. McDermott said, the Capturing Kids' Hearts professional development contract for elementary schools. I did some due diligence on it as well, and I looked at the documents that you provided. So it's $276,750 for up to 16 seats or staff here, and it takes place in the summertime for 2 days, August 1st and 2nd of 2024. My question would be, one, is where's the money coming from? Are you getting some kind of grant, something like that, or is it coming? If you're getting a grant, I want to know that this is measurable. I think you're a district of innovation, so I think that's a requirement of that as well. So it needs to be measurable, right? And it needs to supplement, not supplant. And what my due diligence provided me is it's basically an SEL and a diversity training program. We don't need that. The staff doesn't need that. The kids don't need that. And $276,000 is a lot of money for a 2-day gig. The guy that runs this outfit is a guy named Flippins, something like that. He's ironically, he's an A&M graduate. That's interesting, that connection. You could, if we still had the plane, you could fly down and visit with him. There's a lot of A&M connections, I find. It's really interesting. But anyway, I think it's a waste of money. It's a huge waste of money. And I think you should reconsider it, or you should think deeply. And I definitely want you to have something measurable that shows that it's useful.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels.
Thank you.
All right, now next we have Mr. Lowry, and he is going to speak on item 11B, which is consider an MOU with Harris Range for the purpose of training school marshals. Mr. Lowry.
Good evening, Board. Mr. Superintendent, thank you for this time to speak. I want to take my time to recognize Chief Wade Clark and the great service he's doing for this community. I've observed Wade from some distance for a while and have engaged with him on a number of occasions. I believe he's got a sincere passion for our children, for our staff, and our school district, and we're pleased and blessed to really have Mr. Clark on our staff. He demonstrates something that I think all leaders should have, and that's an intellectual energy. Even though he's accomplished the status of chief, he's still constantly trying to teach and investigate and find new and better ways to do something. He don't rely on, well, we've done that for 10 years, let's just keep doing it. He's always looking for new ideas, and I greatly appreciate that. Intellectual energy is one of the key principles of leadership in my mind. We as a community need to recognize his staff at any given moment when they come to work. In a split second, they can have to go from self-preservation, which is a natural instinct, to giving up their lives for the safety of our children, our staff, and our buildings. And in law enforcement, that's a fight that you have to make. I think we can look not so far down to Uvalde and see that some were not able to accomplish that, defeating and pushing back on self-preservation. But Chief Clark has got an excellent staff from what I've observed. And one more thing, Chief. I appreciate that you haven't allowed the cancer of political division to creep into your position. You're always gracious to me. You always speak to me. You've always been responsive to Trustee Lowry. And I truly think that that leadership quality needs to be emulated by other leaders within this entire community. And I think we're blessed to have Chief Wade Clark on our staff. And I thank you.
Our last speaker for this evening is David Rogers, and he is going to speak on item 11D, consider capturing kids' hearts, professional development contract for all elementary schools. Mr. Rogers.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate you allowing me to speak. Actually, I had a question about the budget as pertains to the superintendent's report. I was told by several officials in the community that last summer the Hood County Appraisal District gave back $1.2 million. I was trying to figure out why the buses were not budgeted as part of that money.
I'm afraid we can't answer questions during this part.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate it.
You are welcome to give a call to the administration building at any time, and we can do our best to answer that question. I would be happy to do that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam President.
You're quite welcome. Okay, we're going to move on now to the consider action and items discussed in closed session. Dr. Glenn.
Thank you, Madam President. First, we have our personnel recommendations for your consideration. At this time, you have in front of you the Human Resources professional contracts for the 2024-2025 school year. It is our recommendation that you approve as presented.
So moved, Madam President.
We have a motion by Ms. Gore.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a second from Ms. Alana. You will have, how many are for? Okay, it's unanimous. Those are accepted.
Thank you, Madam President. Also before you have personnel recommendations tonight, including resignations, retirements, transfers, and additional personnel. And three specific personnel that I'd like to point out that are in the audience tonight are the recommendation for Athletic Director, Lamont Moore. Lamont, raise your hand. Also, returning to the District Director of Community Relations, Lisa Oliver. And Principal for Bacchus Elementary, Dr. Lacey Paget. So trustees, at this time, I recommend that, the administration recommends that you approve the personnel report as presented, and then I think upon your approval, Mr. Cox would like to get a few pictures.
Okay. So this is for a recommendation to approve the hiring of these 3 individuals. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Madam President.
And I want to clarify, it's these 3 individuals and also 4 teachers that I.
Oh, and the
that are
4
part of the
teachers.
report.
Okay. So it's the whole report.
It's the entire report, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have a motion.
A second.
And a second by Mr. Wimberly. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed? It's unanimous. It passes.
Congratulations. If all head coaches would come up, Mr. Cox wants to grab a picture with Coach Moore.
You want to gather around? Let's get a athletic shot real quick. Come on. And then Dr. Paget. Come on, Bacchus. Yeah, let's get that first. Or we can do the staff one, and then we'll get you either way. All right, y'all want to gather right there? Dr. Patrick, everybody gather around. There we go. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it? And then your mom and your husband? That's Ricky comes from mom.
I understand that Dr. Paget's mom and husband are here.
Congratulations. Come on, Lisa.
Glad you're back.
All right. Moving on, the Granbury Middle School intruder audit. Dr. Glenn.
Thank you, Madam President. We'll continue to brag on Chief Clark and the great job he and his staff are doing. As required by law, anytime there is a TEA intruder audit, we are required to report the results. GMS was our 7th audit of the school year. We received a perfect rating. Since that time, Bronner has been rated as well. It was a little late for the agenda, but we will report on the results of Bronner, which were equally as good next month. But this month, we want to provide the report to the community on GMS. That means all but 2 of our GISD campuses have successfully passed the TEA intruder audit.
And the other 2 just haven't been audited yet.
Correct, and they will by the end of the year.
Yeah, and they'll be perfect. All right, moving on to number 10, consent agenda items. Board, are there any items that you would like pulled out for further discussion?
Yes, ma'am, I'd like to pull out D and H.
D and H. Okay, are there any other items that need to be pulled out?
Item I, the budget amendments.
Okay, so we're just going to do them in order. So Ms. Lowry, D, what would you like to discuss?
I would like to ask how the public was informed on the online viewing from March the 7th to March the 25th to see the textbook adoption.
Very good. We will have our 2 experts up here to answer your questions.
Good evening. On the 7th of March, an email was sent out to parents and to all staff members with the login information and the passwords to get on every resource, and it was also posted on our GISD website.
And did you also send it to us and the school board?
All right, got another question. A couple of the people that you're going to be wanting to order books from, one of them was Savas, Realize, and the Savas for the 9 through 12 Science. Have you reviewed their websites?
Yes, yes.
And
they were state approved.
Did you notice, yes, but did you notice they have 1-star rating? Their ratings and their people that are looking at the website and saying things, it's not very encouraging.
We only reviewed things that were 100%, that supported the TEKS 100%, and they were one of the resources that did that. And we had a committee of teachers that were selected to review those. The vendors came and the teachers could ask all sorts of questions, and they hit every part of the rubric that we were looking at.
Okay, because on some of their reviews, it says they were confusing and often unclear instructions, and half the time no one in the class understood it. They are located in New Jersey, and they do have DEI on their website, and they are formally a Pearson group. Also, the Cengage, some of the same things. They had 80% of the people that reviewed it gave it a 1-star. They are DEI, big in their company, and they're based in Boston. The question I have, I didn't write the name of it down. Have you reviewed the Texas Aquatic Science textbook for the middle school and the high school?
Yes, the teachers and our curriculum coordinator who's over that has.
Okay, and it's published by Texas A&M. Why was that one not accepted?
That whenever we had the teachers come in, it was they were presented with all of the resources that were 100% aligned with the TEKS, and we had the teachers make the recommendations, and once they spoke with the vendors, and they picked the top resource that they thought would be best for our students.
Okay, I did want to say that McGraw-Hill and Myriad Sensor and the learning was good, but I just think that the other ones maybe could have had a little bit different. From looking at their websites, I just think there could have been another look at something else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else you want to say on that one, Ms. Lowry? Okay, then let's go on to H. You had some questions on that also. Consider approval of RFP facilities and maintenance contracted services.
Yes. Is that like Emmett?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There were 278 bids sent out. How many were the local Granbury-owned businesses?
I will have to defer to Hussein on that. How many of them were local?
So the city and location of the businesses is on.
Hussein, if you come to the microphone, please.
So on the memo and the backup with the tabulations, it has the city, and I don't know them.
It has some of the cities, some
Yes.
are Dallas, and some are in other places.
Yes,
I was just
but
wondering.
the main one that we use regularly, like Best Electric and Granbury Doors and Windows, those are two I from memory. I don't have any backup in
That's
front
all
of me.
right.
But those are local vendors. Southern Sign is one of them that's also local. And so in the finance departments, we do look for local because those are service bids. This is for service. And service, we need something repaired quickly, affordable, with a good rate, and we promote the local businesses. But the bid was open to everybody in Texas, and we cannot discriminate against locals. So if someone out of McKinney submits a bid and they say, well, we're going to do $80 an hour, same rate as our local electrician, we will be able to engage them and have them here. But they did not.
Does ServPro have an office here in Granbury? Because they're out of Dallas.
You know, I had same conversation and comments with my supervisor because ServPro, I learned, is a franchise. So there is ServPro of Johnson County, and we've been using them for several times. Anytime we have like damage or emergency that we need, we contracted with them through buy board. Having ServPro out of Dallas, they subcontract with local vendors. And having a bid locally will save us at least 2%, because otherwise the ServPro Johnson County or ServPro other areas have to pay a 2% fee to buy board.
Okay. Do we have anybody that like checks references and checks their work to see if they've got good reviews and good references?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we check with other school districts that have used them, and and just to clarify, the bid that is in front of you is a catalog bid and is as needed basis. So all these vendors that are in front of you are to be approved for a later day. So if maintenance supervisor calls and we need a vendor the weekend because something happened, he will shop around. He usually shop around and save the district's money.
All right. Thank you, Sane.
No, thank you, Ms. Lowry.
And lastly, okay. Lastly, Ms. Gore, you wanted to talk about consider and approve budget amendments.
Yes, I just want to recognize the donations from our community that we've had this last month. We've had a donation from Oakwoods PTO to Oakwoods campus for a laminator in the amount of $2,526.49. Donation from Bronner PTO to the Campus Activity Fund to supplement the cost of travel to Austin in the amount of $4,000. A donation from a donation from A Plus Roofing and Construction to STEAM Academy, and a donation from HEB to STEAM Academy for the Campus Activity Fund for the car pickup tags and for the Star Barbecue, totaling $5,500. A donation from First United Methodist Church to Bacchus Campus Activity Fund for their Saturday school meals in the amount of $500. A donation from Granbury Optimist Club to the DHS Band Student Activity Account to supplement travel in the amount of $102.13. Then we had donations from the Lady Pirate Soccer Booster Club, the Boys Golf Booster Club, the Lady Pirate Basketball Booster Club, and the GHS Pirate Softball Booster Club, all to supplement travel totaling $8,193.14, for a total in donations this month of $20,821.76. Folks, I know I say this every month, but the support in this community just amazes me every time. Thank you so much. If you see these people out and about, please thank them.
Thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Lowry, for D and H, do you want us to vote on those separately, or can we vote on all the consent agenda items together? It is up to you.
I'd like to take the textbooks out and vote on those separately.
Yes, ma'am. But the H is okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
H is okay.
Very good. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Consider textbook adoption for the 2024-2025 school year. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Madam President, I recommend that the board approve suggested instructional materials.
Thank you, Mr. Wimberly. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that is 5 for, 2 against. And the 2 against will be Ms. Lowry and Ms. Graft. Okay, we can do the rest of the consent agenda items together. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items as shown, except for item D?
Madam President, I move that we approve all the consent agenda items as presented, except for item D.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Gore. All those in favor, raise your hand. And that is unanimous. Okay. Moving on. We are now to the discussion and action items. In 11, first one, consider approval of the MOU interlocal for radio purchases and licensing with the City of Granbury. Mr. Wade Clark. No worries.
Dr. Glenn, Madam President, Board of Trustees, I'm here to present, we have an MOU that we would like you to approve for us to join the Granbury Regional Radio Network. That is the network that went into play about a year and a half ago here. The city purchased it. Granbury PD manages it. It's the radio system that the PD, the Sheriff's Office, all of EMS, and all of fire have now joined. And so this MOU would allow for Granbury to join that same system. We would operate, of course, independently from those people, but be able to be patched into one another if there was an emergency and be able to have communications. Anytime there's an emergency, after action reports always reveal the same weaknesses, and they usually center around communications. So this is a way for us to improve our security posture and be better able to make sure we don't have those kinds of problems. Also tagged along with that is an interlocal agreement for us to piggyback on Granbury PD's contract for the purchase of radios. We get a significant cost savings purchasing those radios through piggybacking on that contract with Granbury PD. And I want to thank Officer Chris Collins from Granbury PD. He's also the IT director for the city, and he's helped a lot with this project, and he's going to answer any questions that I can't if you have them.
Doesn't look like anybody has any questions. Thank you. That's, I'm surprised. Okay.
I won't go far.
All right. Okay. So do I have a motion to accept this approval?
So moved.
Ms. Gore, do I have a second?
Second.
I have 2 seconds. I will take Ms. Alanis. Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. And that is unanimous. All right, moving on. Mr. Clark, it's a good thing you didn't go far. Consider an MOU with Harris Range for the purpose of training school marshals.
Yes, ma'am. So again, this is a partnership with a local range. This is the same range that the Granbury Police Department trains on, the same range that the Region 11 SWAT team trains on, and that the Sheriff's Office train on. It's very near. It's probably a 5-minute drive from the high school out on the loop. It's an excellent range, and it's a range that qualifies for being able to certify TCOL certified personnel. As most of you know, I think, we have secured having TCOL come to us this summer to do our research for marshals. It'd be the first time ever that TCOL has recertified marshals anywhere other than a law enforcement academy in the state of Texas. And one of those things was that we needed to make sure that we had secured an adequate range for that. So this range isn't going to cost us anything, but the owner of the range wants an MOU. It's the same MOU he has with all these other agencies, just for his own protection. And if you have any questions?
Can I ask a question? The marshals will be all training together, but is this going to be like an ongoing thing? So they'll be able to go continuously, to go out and train when they want, or is just together?
So not when they want, but when we schedule it. So this would open the door for us, and I've had a lot of conversations with Mike Harris about this. I can contact him anytime the range is available, which luckily for us, that will fit our schedules quite a bit. We would be able to do that as long as we've given him the proper heads up that we plan to use the range.
That's really good. The more you get to handle those guns, the better, more comfortable you are.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Madam President, I recommend that the board approve this MOU between Granbury ISD and the Harris Range.
Thank you, Ms. Solana. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Lowry. All those in favor, raise your hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Moving on, number C, consider the 2024-2025 teacher hiring schedule. Mr. Jones.
Thank you. Yes, we were looking at, after Emmett and Dr. Glenn and I looked at our budget, and we're trying to recruit and retain better teachers. And so we proposed this hiring schedule that would make us competitive with our surrounding districts.
Are there any questions or comments?
I just appreciate the work y'all put into this. This was part of the strategic planning. This came out of our strategic planning to make us compatible with surrounding districts and to retain high-quality educators. So appreciate y'all doing this and working this into our balanced budget that we're going to have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
And with that, I will make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Gore. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Wimberly. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you, board. Going on. Consider capturing kids' hearts professional development contract for all elementary schools. Ms. Brown.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon or evening. You guys have the memo that specifically talks a lot about capturing kids' hearts in the process that we went through. You have a renewal as well as an initial contract specifically for elementary. So our secondary campuses have had the benefit of going through capturing kids' hearts this year. And so we have 4 secondary campuses, both middle schools, our STARS, BTC campuses, as well as our high school. And we did some preliminary data research. I know that there was some questions about data in the back regarding capturing kids' hearts. And we're very cautious with our data, especially since the year has not finished. And so we want to make sure that we're giving accurate information. However, based upon the out-of-school suspension, in-school suspension, partial days, half days, full days, et cetera, there has been between 25 to 50% decrease in our discipline referrals at our secondary campuses since this was implemented. That being said, I know that there was some question regarding that teachers may not know these things. Our teachers are magnificent. You guys know that. And I'll be very honest when I say we're always looking for new strategies to reach our kids, whether that be academically or in a relationship building capacity. And so with capturing kids' hearts, we do have the opportunity to renew with our secondary campuses. And I also got some feedback from our principals. Our principals wanted to highlight, the interactions specifically with the classroom teachers and the use of affirmations and specific activities and skills that are done help to build an atmosphere of extended trust with and between students. So this goes beyond just having our teachers be part of relationships with our students. This is the process of developing relationships between our students as well. There's been a mindful focus on accountability, growing and knowing our students, and really how we look at our interactions with all members of our campus is what another principal said. And then CKH provided tools to help support teachers with new ideas for making sure we have a format of culture building and maintenance of our staff and our stakeholders. And so there is some data, like I said, I've got some data that highlights out-of-school suspensions, et cetera. I'm a little cautious to present it. I'll be glad to share it, but I really would like to get to the end of the year before we make that public. I'd like to see some true accountability with that. So that being said, what additional questions do you have?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you and your staff for hard work. I know this was a heavy lift putting it in. I know at the beginning of the year, you were charged with finding a program to address some of the mental health issues we've seen amongst our kids and how we could better fulfill and meet those needs. So thank you for that. It's a research-based program. As far as the cost of the program, I know that came up during public comments tonight. So talk a little bit about the funding mechanism for that program. What is it being funded out of?
Sure, it is funded by the ESSER grant, the grant that we applied for. It's a federal grant that is a grant that specifically is to help sustain and as well as deal with the impact of COVID on our students as well as our staff. And so it's the grant itself is spent on those things that we see some concerns with, and I say we as a GISD we. It does help to ensure interventions are put in place and respond with our students, which not only their well-being, but also the impact that has on their academics. When you feel, seen and heard and safe, you can focus in on math and reading language arts. But it is funded by our ESSER. Some of it may be a Title IV, but they're federal grants that are specific.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Brown. I know I'm asking a few rhetorical questions, but I appreciate you just providing clarification.
Sure.
So ESSER is our COVID relief funds, which expire at the end of this year.
Yes.
So if the district chose not to expend those funds, what would happen? Could we spend them on anything we wanted?
No, you can't spend them on anything you want. So you have to make sure that you have specifically provided support in multiple areas, and the federal government tracks those areas. What have you done in mental health and well-being for your staff? What have you done for mental well-being for your students? All the different indicators. So the grant is written to specifically provide relief.
And so if we didn't spend these funds, what would happen to them?
I'm sorry, sir. If we didn't spend the funds.
You're doing great.
We would have, I'm like, my mouth is so dry. I'm sorry, let me lick my lips. I apologize. So if we didn't spend the funds, first of all, they keep saying that we're going to be in trouble for not doing what we said we were going to do with the funds. I say in trouble, but the funds go back to the federal government. So we don't get to keep them. We don't get to say, yeah, we're not going to do that. We need to really target, something different.
So essentially, to answer the question that was brought up in open forum tonight, they're federal funds. It's a grant. We applied for the grant. The federal government said, yes, you can have it if you expend it on these programs and these programs only. And if you choose not to expend it on these programs, we're going to take the funds back. If you do anything else with these funds, we're going to charge you for it, and we're going to take our money back.
Yeah.
And so we looked at all the programs. We got teacher input. We determined what was best practice. We tried to address a real need among students in Granbury. And so we implemented Capturing Kids' Hearts, a research-based program that our teachers and administration looked at and said, we support that program. That's good for kids. We have an allotment of money that if we don't spend, we'll lose. And so we are going to take our allotment of money and apply it to this. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Also, and in strategic planning, because this was talked about in strategic planning, and the accountability measure and tracking the data was also something we implemented in our strategic plan. So we have actual accountability measures built in to make sure that this program is being implemented the way it should be. And it's being streamlined across the district.
Yes. We have the benefit also, part of the contract is we have a strategist that comes in that works with our staff to become process champions. So we become the kind of the force behind everything. So that we're not only training to become the trainers of trainers type situation, but making sure that we can continue to move forward with this specific process for the benefit of our staff and our students.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. Brown, do you see this as an anti-bullying type of a program that would be beneficial to some discussion that's gone on about bullying in the
Sure.
district?
Absolutely. Because of the strategies that are implemented specifically in student-to-student relationships, as the first year starts to go, we've had the basic training, at our secondary campuses. They will then go into a phase where they are doing some more things with our students and the peer-to-peer relationships and leading forward, they call it, it's CKH leadership, which is students actually working with other students on the way things are being done here. And so there is the process, again, we go a little deeper, a little wider, and specifically to target relationships which we see as the kind of solution for our bullying, being connected. Does that make sense? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Are there any more questions and discussion? That was good discussion. Thank you very much. Okay, may I have a motion considering Capturing Kids' Heart professional development contract for all elementary schools?
So moved, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Gore. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wimberly. All those in favor, please say aye. There we go. And we have 6 for, 1 against being Ms. Graft. Okay.
Thank you, Stacy and Carla. Appreciate all
Yes.
your hard work on that.
Reports. Ms. Brown again. Bilingual program shift update. We got you busy. This is the Stacy Brown Show.
Sure. All right, I got some water. That's right. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Board. You have in front of you some information on our dual language program. So if I can have Miss Sandy and I was going to say Miss Julie, if she wants to come up as well. And I was going to say, Lacey, you can come up and stand here too, but yeah, that's okay. All right, so over the course of the 23-24 school year, this school year specifically, our elementary as well as our secondary emergent bilingual population and our dual language population has grown significantly. Specifically, our total numbers in our emergent bilingual population have grown 165 students this year up until this point, and there's some that are still in process. So I think we have nine in process. In order to provide the space needed to accommodate the outstanding growth, Bronner right now is at 916. We will be expanding this program to be offered at Bacchus Elementary as well as Bronner Elementary. So beginning in the 24-25 school year, dual language students that are zoned to Bacchus Elementary and Oakwoods that are currently attending at Bronner will be attending the dual language program at Bacchus Elementary. So we are expanding. Following this meeting, Sandy Ruiz, Julie Ledbetter, Julie Rowe Leader, as well as Lacey Paget and Nubia Velasquez and Julie Sellers and Christina Sosby will be implementing the transition plan regarding staffing and direct communication with families about the change. This expansion will maximize the best possible usage of our elementary facilities and provide balance district-wide of all our K-5 enrollment. It takes Bacchus up 120 students, and it drops Bronner 120 students, bringing Bronner to 795 and Bacchus to about 585. Resulting in the beginning of the 24-25 school year, all elementary campuses will then be at or above their functional capacity. What questions do you have of us?
Stacy, this has been a heavy lift, and I'm sorry, Dr. Padgett, to think that you come
Surprise.
This has been a heavy lift, and I know, Sandy, your staff has done an incredible job, but the folks at Bronner know, because you really truly feel the pain of enrollment and just numbers crushing your campus. And so this is our, I guess, chance to offer a little bit of relief to Bronner, to the only campus that really has any room available right now. And so it's a move that we feel like it's a positive move moving forward. Having 2 bilingual campuses in the district is going to be ultimately a good thing long-term for our campus. And then obviously we'll see where the bond election goes in May. But we can't wait 3 years for a new school to be built. We have to do something now. And so this is the answer to providing relief at Bronner immediately.
Yes. And am I correct that Dr. Padgett, you have experience with the bilingual program, so it's not going to be a problem at all moving to Bacchus?
I'm excited to say that in one of my former districts, I actually head up bringing the one-way dual language program to our entire district. So very exciting. I think it's a great way to come together as a community and really just celebrate our cultural pieces we have here in Granbury. And really just work hard on, I think the biggest thing is going to be the transition and ensuring that the parents and the teachers as well as the students feel like they're a part of the Bacchus Elementary family. And so I look forward to that.
Well, I think we're very blessed to have someone that already understands the program, to have our parents go to Bacchus as well. So between the 2 of you, we are in great shape, so thank you.
Thank you.
Emmett, take us home.
Thank you, Madam President. Board, you do have in front of you the financial statements for February 29th, 2024. That statement does include only transactions that have occurred between September 1, 2023 and February 29th, 2024. You can see that revenue collected to date equals 79.85% of the budgeted amount compared to 86.43% of the amount in 22-23. Expenditures to date are 47.78% of the budget as compared to 52.25% in 22 and 23. And that is your financials as presented to you. If you have any questions, I will be glad to answer. Yes, ma'am.
The debt service, that $23,158, could you remind me again what that is?
That is, has to do with GASB 84, and it is with our technology software that has to be purchased out of Function 71.
Okay.
We're still seeing a delay in our revenue. Is that because of the late?
Yes, ma'am. There's a delay there. There will be some hold harmless later on, and I haven't moved those funds yet until the hold harmless comes true. And it will move from tax collections into the 5,800, which is state revenues, and that is the hold harmless piece.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Moving on to the cash flow and investment. Board, you do have the cash flow and investment report in front of you. You can see that this month to date, we collected $315,128 in interest revenue, and the total this year currently is $1,050,272.40. This time last year, we were at $790,790. So
I was going to ask you that question. Okay.
And that is your investment report. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmett. Well done.
All right, that covers everything that we have tonight. The time is 7:30, and we are adjourned.
Thank you, Board.
Hey, brother, how are you?
Financials go.